Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we are going to be talking about City of Death from Season 17, kind of the standout story from Season 17, and oftentimes regarded as one of the best Doctor Who stories ever made, rightfully so. I definitely think it's one of Tom Baker's best, especially post-Hinchcliffe era. It is a phenomenal story. One thing right away is the location work is beautiful. This, of course, was the first time Doctor Who ever filmed abroad, and it looks really, really good. I love not just the fact they're filming in Paris, which is fantastic, but the director and the cameraman do a good job with the way they film the shots. It looks really nice. I remember somebody in one of the making-ofs talking about how it has a more cinematic look and feel to most Doctor Who episodes, and that's true. It does have this more cinematic quality, because instead of just so much being done in studio or so much being done in quarries, it really does look like more budget went into the story, which is what they did. They really did divide the budget up and give less budget for other stories so they could give more budget to City of Death and Shada. And it really pays off here. The location work, I absolutely love seeing them at the Eiffel Tower, seeing all the landmarks in the background as they're running around. Really, the only tragedy is that the original film elements don't exist, so we can't see it in true HD. I really wish the location work still existed in its original film elements, but that's been lost to time. And it still looks pretty nice on the Blu-ray, don't get me wrong. I just wish we could have had it in true HD. The studio stuff looks really good, too. They did a really good job with putting money into the sets, like the chateau where the Count is, Scaroff's place. That big room looks really good. The dungeon looks pretty nice. The, or cellar, or whatever you want to call it. The cafe. The setting for the cafe looks good. The setting for the Louvre, whatever it's called, where the paintings are, that looks really good. All of the sets look really nice. They look like they have more money put into them than the traditional Doctor Who set. And they all look very large, which is really impressive. I enjoy Douglas Adams' writing here. As other people have said, his fingerprints are all over this story, and his wit and his humor are all over this story, which is one of the reasons I like it. I love Douglas Adams' style of humor. It meshes really well with Tom Baker and the Fourth Doctor, so he gets so many wonderful lines. My favorite scene of all time in Doctor Who is from this story, the scene when they first meet the Count and the Countess. That whole scene in the chateau is just hilarious, while also being a serious comedic scene, if that makes sense. And Tom Baker has some wonderful lines. What a wonderful butler. He's so violent. He's walking around on his knees. Why was he following me? Well, you're a beautiful woman, probably. All right, Doctor, who sent you? Who sent me what? I love all of that. Everything in there is just gold. But beyond just the comedic aspects of it, if you look, that's actually a fantastic scene. It would be a great scene to do an analysis of, because Tom Baker never loses control in that whole scene. He always maintains control of the situation. He never panics. He never freaks out, or what I usually refer to as the Whittaker syndrome. He's never on the back foot like, let's just say, the current Doctor, who's always seems confused and lost and on the back foot and panicky and doesn't know what's going on. Tom Baker is none of these things. Tom Baker is in full control of the situation. He's not letting himself get worried. He's not scared. He's maintaining control the whole time. And I love that. He's just at ease. I like that. Hello there! I love that. This scene is a perfect example of how the Doctor should be. I mean, he's almost pulling a Troughton here, where he's acting silly and more buffoonish to lull people into a false sense of security. It's not quite working. He's not as stupid as he appears. My dear, no one can be as stupid as he appears. I love that. And Duncan, that's a Louis Tins. I love everything in that scene. Julian Glover is amazing. I love the supporting cast in this. They are so good. Julian Glover does such a good job at playing this villain without ever going over the top with it. He's never like sold deed or anything. He's very in control of the situation. which I love his performance. The Countess, Catherine, does a great job there, playing her as this kind of character that's never quite as smart as she thinks she is, and she doesn't know nearly as much as she thinks she does. And she's very much this kind of spoiled, bratty type. You kind of get the impression that she probably actually came into... She probably was born into money, not just... She doesn't just, I think, have the money because of the Count. I think she was probably born into money. Either that or at a very young age she met the Count and got spoiled really early. But it's a great performance. I like the guy playing Duggan, Tom. Duggan is interesting because he is kind of a two-dimensional character. But he's very effective. I would have loved to have had him as a companion. He's very much the bronze of the situation. He's not overly bright. And he seems aware of that fact that he's not the smartest person in the room. Which I'll give him that. He seems aware of it. But I love how his solution to everything is to punch it. Or ram it. I like when Romana's like, you would have gotten along really well with a glacier. And I absolutely love how he opens a bottle of wine. He just, yeah, there we go. That's very in character for Duggan. And I like how he doesn't mind just ramming his shoulder into something to bust it open. And I like how Tom, even once he gets used to it, just puts that to effect. Duggan, yeah, I got it. Just opens the door. He is a fun character. He's never bothersome or annoying or irksome. I like him as a character. You know, every time I get to talking to someone, you turn around and knock them out. So I do like him a lot. They make a nice little trio for this story. I would have liked to have seen more of them together. That would have been fun. I like the Doctor's little pin he wears right here on his jacket. I don't know why, but it's very eye-catching to me. It makes his jacket pop a little more. I do like it. Of course, Tom is great in this with his traditional wit like he has. I love... just the dialogue is so good. A bouquet? A wine? A bouquet? A bouquet. If there's any criticisms I have to the story, is that I feel like the ending wraps up a little too easily, a little too quickly. It wraps up into a nice little bow, a little too simply. With them going back and basically stopping Scaroth with a punch. I mean, I don't understand why when Scaroth goes back, he doesn't take the gun with him. Because, I mean, obviously he can take inanimate objects with him because he still takes his clothes with him. It's not like a Terminator situation. When he steps into the portal, all of his clothes go with him. So you could figure he could take the gun too. But he doesn't. Because if he had taken the gun when he shows up in the past and the Doctor and Duggan and Romana show up in the past, he could have just been like, bang, bang, bang. Hey, guys, don't press the button. Done. But he doesn't. And I don't like the fact that Duggan beats him just by a simple punch and he's out. I'm always a little miffed when people get knocked out from one punch anyway. That's not very realistic. When just punch, they're out. That's usually not how that works. So the fact it's an alien, dude, he just punches him one time, he's out. That might be the most important punch in history. I gotta admit, the set looks really good there, too, when they're in the distant past at the beginning of the story and right there at the climax of the story. That is a beautiful looking, like, prehistoric set with the painted backdrop and everything. That is very impressive. I love the ship, too. The model ship, the Jaggeroth ship looks really nice with its kind of spider legs and everything. Very different type of ship than you normally see from spaceships from the 50s, 60s, 70s. So to have it have those kind of spider legs, give it a little bit of a sinister look. I really like that. And I like how the story ties in with that's the event that triggered basically what would lead to humanity. The radiation from that explosion is what caused the primordial ooze to start. Basically, that's why we exist as the human race. I think that's fascinating. And one of the reasons, and the fact that the Doctor picked up on that early, he's like, blackmailing me won't works, you know, Scaroth, when I know the consequences of you succeeding. Tom, the Fourth Doctor had already figured out that this is what triggered the human race forming, because unlike, say, certain current doctors, let us say, this Doctor's never on the back foot. He's always a few steps ahead, actually. And so he'd already figured out, no, we can't let this happen. I can't let you save your people because you'll be destroying another people, the human race, and I can't allow that. And I love the fact that Scaroth is responsible for a lot of things in human history, like the first wheel and fire and other little developments we've had in history. That's a neat little take on things, that he was so instrumental in development of us as a people. That's pretty cool. And this story has a lot to do with human evolution, and that's really, really neat as well. But the fact that it wraps up that easily with, and as soon as he's teleported back to the present, his henchman doesn't recognize him and throws something at the machine and blows it up and kills him. The resolution seems a little too easy. Much kind of like, was it Can You Hear Me in Series 12, which I think is a great episode, but it wraps up too quick, so it doesn't have enough running time. I kind of wish City of Death had one more episode, because I feel like the ending's wrapped up too neat, with Duggan just punching him, and as soon as he gets back, his assistant throws the thing that blows him up in the time machine. A little too convenient. That's really my only main gripe. I love the mask. I love the Jaggeroth look with the eye, and I think that's a very impressive mask for Classic Who. Yeah, I know the actual mask is bigger than the supposed human mask he's wearing, but I like to think that when he puts on the Julian Glover mask, his head compresses down, kind of like the Slovene, how they can compress in. I still think it's realized really, really well. Still one of my favorite Doctor Who stories. I've always said it's my favorite. I don't know if it's my favorite. It's really hard to pick a favorite when a lot of Doctor Who is what you're in the mood for. Is it the objective best? I don't think I would say it's the objective best. I think other stories like Jennison's stuff are objectively better. It's definitely one of the best post-Hinchcliffe, and it's, again, definitely one of my favorites. It's a lot of fun. And I like the name City of Death, because Paris is so many times the city of romance, the city of love. But in this case, since it could have caused the death of all humanity, it kind of was the city of death. And I like the time machine, the special effects on it when it's doing time machine stuff. Those little swirling things. That's a pretty neat effect for Classic Who. I like it. Yeah, I really like City of Death. I love the dialogue. It's a great concept, especially when you hear about the original concept, The Gamble of Time, when you watch the making of and see how that transitioned into City of Death and what the original author contributed to it and how Douglas Adams rewrote a lot of it and added his own dialogue and wit and all of that to it. It's really neat to see how this story came to fruition. It's so much fun to watch. I love City of Death. So that's my thoughts on City of Death. I would like to know what you think of City of Death. So comment down below and let me know what you think. Wonderful performances, wonderful dialogue. This is probably the Fourth Doctor at his wittiest and at his comical best, in my opinion, while still being serious when he needs to be. I absolutely love that. Other things to do, click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications. I am trying to grow the channel to 1,000 subscribers. That is my goal right now. I do want to give a shout out to one of my fellow Who-tubers, the Gargantuan Apple. He did recently hit 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations on that. I did see the notice on that, left a little comment on that, congratulating him. That is a remarkable achievement, and I think he's only going to go up from there. I'm looking forward to hitting that mark myself eventually. I also have a Patreon if you would like to contribute to what I do. There is a link to my Patreon down in the description below, where I have several different tiers. My entry-level tier is only $2 a month. If you would like to contribute to what I do, it's always nice to get a new patron in. Even at the entry tier level, it always puts a smile on my face. I want to give a shout out to two of my top tier patrons, the Fifth Doctor and Stephen Crane. I really appreciate their support, just as I appreciate the support of all of my patrons. I have a couple early access videos that just went up. My review of Nightmare of Eden will be up on that already, and my ranking of the Regenerations is up already, and other exclusive and early access stuff and polls to vote in. I do different things on there. I also have a P.O. box. If you would like to send me anything, my P.O. box is down in the description. I'll be glad to take anything you want to send me to look at. And I have an Amazon wish list as well, with a link to that down in the description below. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.